Kiliti.
Hölgyeim és uraim, kérem fogadják nagy tapssal a kék sarokba érkező fiatal bolgár boxolót. Ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the blue corner, a promising young boxer from Bulgaria, Lazar Dimitrov.
Vandals, projeta o artizam işletata Vandals, tuka od players me uđetata Vandals, šeti čupi me kađetata Vandals, teška smrt za bazetata Vandals, projeta o artizam išletata Vandals, tuka od players me uđetata 0-6, 4 bora nisto bile Nemaš mjesto tuka brate kulići će si obilen Всеки наш матч от екипката по цилен И всеки един чурбар от лескаре изнасилен Нека всички като чуят това гласи да настръхват лека ритъма за лески.
És most köszöntsék a piros sarokba érkező 11-szeres profi győztest, Székesfehérvár büszkeségét. And now, please welcome his opponent, making his way to the red corner, the pride of Székesfehérvár, Hungary, Kiliti, Tamás! Hölgyeim és uraim, ez a Hell Boxing Kings profi box mérkőzése könnyű súly kategóriában. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Hell Boxing Kings professional bout in the lightweight division. Első versenyzőnk a kék sarokban, a 21 éves, 177 cm magas, a mérlegelésen 60,8 kg súlyú bolgár versenyző. Fighting out of the blue corner, at 21 years of age, he stands 177 centimeters tall and weighed in at 60.8 kilograms. Fighting out of Sofia, Bulgaria, Lazar Dimitrov! És az ellenfele a piros sarokban, a 29 éves, 169 cm magas, a mérlegelésen 60,7 kg súlyú magyar versenyző. And his opponent in the red corner, at 29 years of age, he stands 169 centimeters tall and weighed in at 60.7 kilograms. Fighting out of Székesfehérvár, Hungary, Kiliti, Tamás! És a mérkőzés vezetőbírója and your referee in charge at the bell, Sasvári Tamás!
Well, the Bulgarian fighter, we could see him fight in Hungary and last year in his amateur era with Gergő Szállás, and obviously Kiliti, whoever covers the professional boxing in Hungary, you know very well his career. His was the bout of the year. He was only one defeat. Abroad, he was taken out at a too early stage. Maybe that wasn't the best decision, but he has very good capabilities. He has very hard punches, and he's very, very popular. I can see that the Fehérvár ultras have come to cheer him on in this bout, and probably he's going to put in a fight with the same strength as they are routing for him. And Lazar is still maybe a little bit, he isn't so very experienced in the professional league, but he is also very determined, and he wants to last the 4 rounds through. Well, obviously, Tamás has a very large experience, but this is what I've been talking about, the 3 to 5 bouting combinations. These are really very dangerous. Against Gergő Száraz, we know Gergő is a very, very good movement. He's a really fighter, a dancer, but once the Bulgarian got closer, he just rained down his punches, so these can be quite dangerous, but probably Tamás will be more careful. We will likely to see a lot of infight periods in this bout. Oh yes, whoa, what a lot of fights, but Tamás's defense is really keeping up now, holding up here. I believe 5 or 6 punches, they didn't really find their target. The cover-up of Tamás is really good. Oh, nice work from Kiliti. Punches landed very nicely on the Bulgarian opponent there. Yes, very nice left uppercut there. And so far Kiliti is doing more work, and his punches are landing, as he's more active both on the head and on the body work. And maybe the Bulgarian is just starting to ease in to this bout. This is the very beginning of the bout, but we already see we're in for a really good fight. And I think Kiliti is constantly showering down his punches, and he has a very good rate of accuracy. Maybe the Bulgarian, something happened, maybe he got tired, or he's just preparing. Do you think he has plans? Well, you never know. Maybe he has some secret plans. He wants to sell something. Well, he still has 10 seconds to do in this round. I don't think he has any special plans. I think he just doesn't know where to find an opening on Tamás. That's the Bulgarian fighter's problem. Whoa, that was a nice way to say goodbye from the Bulgarian at the very end of round 1 there. That was, well, you know, the punches delivered in the last 3 seconds are worth just as much as the beginning of the round. And it is very important to ramp up your activity at the end of your activity, and in ex-Soviet Union countries they really teach that you have to act up and really power up your game towards the end of the rounds. But on 12-round bouts, maybe with a Hiedler versus Leonard is the best example. Maybe it was 15 rounds, not 12. Yeah, that was still 15 back in the day. And that's the best example. Leonard won the end, but Wiegler won the majority of each round, so he came in first. So it is very important to ramp up your game towards the end, but the activity, what you did, Willner and Hurst, Hiegler, they were really fast. The fight was only 2 rounds, right? I think it was the 2 rounds of all times, but now they're ramping up. Well, yeah, this is punches are really showering down. Both are really very active. Their pace is really up, and they are in Argentina. When Kiliti delivered the match of the year, he also stood up against the punches. The Argentinian opponent really delivered a couple of punches, but Kiliti stood his ground. So Tamás Kiliti, he doesn't have a very exemplary amateur record, but he's really standing his ground, and the Bulgarian is really showering around, but both of them are delivering an ample amount of punches. But now Kiliti, you can see a nice combination, and you can see the history of the Bulgarian opponent, and you can see that he started boxing not as an adult. It is interesting that the Bulgarian, on his ranking, there aren't a lot of Bulgarian fighters. There are a couple of great Bulgarian boxers, despite the fact that in the amateur world Bulgarian boxers are really great. And so the last, he was the one who fought from Leeuwarden. Well, his hand was lifted in 1996 The 1st of August was the bout, and I think his eyes teared up as the world's greatest and richest champion. But now Kiliti is up against the ropes. It would be nice to go back, to return to this very active fighting. Maybe he's not the stronger of the two, Tamás. So if we look at the two cogs, maybe he's not the stronger cogs, and he keeps stopping. Tamás keeps stopping from time to time. So maybe 6 rounds would be too much for him. 4 rounds would be enough for him to deliver this. He's suffering a couple of punches unnecessarily. If he's stuck up against the ropes, he's in for receiving a lot of punches. But again, these combinations are quite nice. The Bulgarian is really up on him, though. Yeah, and we have 2 referees who are not Hungarian. They're definitely unbiased. Yeah, and the Bulgarian has got Tamás pinned at the ropes, and it's definitely he's in the leading role. What we saw that in round 2, Kiliti Tamás was the director of this bout. I think the leadership has been assumed by Lazar in round 2. And 6 minutes is not a lot, but we all know 6 minutes can be really, really a lot. I'd rather spend 6 minutes underwater sometimes than in the ring. Well, maybe after 5 minutes you'd have problems even underwater, but it's definitely calmer. At least you're not getting punches when submerged, at least if everything's going well. But yeah, this round definitely wasn't reassuring in terms of the winning chances of Tamás. It would be nice for Tamás to return to round 1, the activity he showed in round 1, with more leg movements. And if we take a look at the career of Tamás Kiliti, he's still into a couple of good fights, so he should really step up his game. He should receive different targets, and now the Bulgarian is really speeding up. This is a really fast-paced match, but Kiliti is also speeding up. He's matching his counterpart. This is how heroes are born, when they step up and start fighting. Well, hands down to both fighters. This is turning into a really great bout. This was a very intense 30 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Someone doesn't receive such a shower of punches throughout their entire career. Well, nice cover-up from Tamás, and only 30 seconds have passed from this round. Was this lightweight? Yeah, absolutely. Both were on the border, but in every bout, all fighters came in with the proper weight. Yeah, so it's definitely, this is going to be a fight through and through till the end of the bout. And the Bulgarian is really delivering hard punches again, clinched together. Well, Tamás is protecting himself, defending himself, but you know, those punches go through gloves. So maybe you don't get the points, but you do have the impact. So it doesn't do him good. This sidestep was quite good, but Dimitrov noticed. I think Tamás is good to step aside, both right and left, but you have to keep his hands up. And again, he's pinned against the ropes, and Dimitrov just doesn't seem to leave Tamás alone. Well, 1 or 2 times when the end of the previous round, that lefter was a nice way to say goodbye. Tamás had his previous fight 2 months ago. He probably spent the summer training, so he's probably in top condition. I think he can manage through 4 rounds, and we can almost see we're approaching the end of round 3. Very serious, hellish punches delivered, and I don't think Tamás should stop to such an extent. He is really standing his ground and receiving those punches, but it shouldn't. And with some lighter left-handed ones, he should keep his distance from the Bulgarian fighter. But the Bulgarian is really strong, and he's really on to him. really on him very close. And if this would be the first professional fight of the Bulgarian, well, this definitely doesn't look like a debut fight. Well, this is Hell Boxing Kings for you, ladies and gentlemen. He's really confident, and he's just politely asking, may I box? And they say, hell yeah. And well, he's really standing his ground, but independently, the Bulgarian is really keeping Kiliti against the ropes, and maybe he can't go away, but still his defense, his cover-up is quite good. But obviously he's, as we can see in the replay here, he's receiving a lot of punches, but still he's doing quite a good job in this situation, pressed up against the ropes. But one thing is clear, this was an excellent round. I didn't really count the punches, how many there were. It's 234 versus 232. I don't know which is which, but these are all power punches, so there were no pulling, holding back here. So this is the championship round, I guess, round 4, because you don't really know which one's ahead, because this is a really well they're really on an equal level, both fighters. So the Bulgarian is up and running again, but in the last round Tommy handled that quite well. This was really great, some back and forth. This was a little under the belt, but that's okay, I guess. He's pulling away nicely. And now you have to return and counter. Very nice counter attack and movements from Kiliti. Again, what a lovely fight. What a lovely fight, ladies and gentlemen. And this was the kind of fight that was awarded the match of the year from Kiliti. So Kiliti is in top shape, I think we can say that. And again, a mouth guard on the floor. So the Bulgarian stopped, and that's a rookie's move or an amateur move. Maybe it was the luck of Kiliti, but they didn't rinse it off. Tamás said, you're not really needed. Yeah, but he's back against the rings. He just put his mouth guard right back. Well, the only better one rinsed off his mouth guard in the spit bucket, which was kind of gross view to see. There's still another 1 minute 40 seconds going on, and it's really a high-paced match. And still we see examples of Kiliti Tamás punching and the punches landing there, so he still has the fighting spirit in him. But he's very rooty. But our Shashi sees everything as a referee. He has his Shosh or eagle eyes on, and the whole arena is on their feet, shouting Ria Ria Hungary, cheering on to Tamás Kiliti. And no wonder in the 6, 8 to 10 round fights, after a while one of the boxers ultimately gets tired, and that's when you see who's the really determined fighter. And back in the day, as we just discussed, just imagine those 15-round bouts. Yeah, Tamás dropped his hands over there, giving the opportunity for the Bulgarian to land a couple of fights, but then he rolled over and it delivered a few fights. You shouldn't sell this last 30 seconds, Tamás. Yeah, this was a nice body work, and now to the head, Tamás, go ahead. These uppercuts from Kiliti are really nice. Yeah, maybe the Bulgarian is slowing down. Whoa! And oh dear, we see Tamás on the floor. This was a really hard punch delivered. This was an immense punch with 10 seconds. This is at least 1 point deduction, and we're out, and the referee, absolutely within the bounds of the sports, called it off. And there's no matter how much is off the game, if the fighter is unable to continue, you have to stop. This was a very good decision delivered by Sasvári, so congratulations to the referee. Sadly, Tamás was unable to continue, and this was such a great punch. It was a wonder he was imagined to stand up. His balance was completely lost, and this is quite discouraging. It's really very frustrating when you only have a couple of seconds back. And I remember a match in where the referee was really torn up whether he made a good decision or not in naming a technical KO. There was only 5 seconds or 3 seconds left from round 2 when the referee stopped the game and announced Hugo Chávez's victory when the enemy was in the lead, and maybe Tamás, judging by the points, was in the lead, so he would have taken this match, but sadly just the seconds away from round 4 this was a technical KO. The Bulgarian fighter really hit him hard there at the end. It was a really good match, but this was, to be honest, up in the air, this outcome. What I was about to say, Bulgarian has not been in round 4 with only amateur bouts in his belt so far, and he looked tired, but then came this lethal punch. His energy levels are really interesting, how he was able to bounce back from this. The way Kiliti Tamás's stamina changed, and maybe he wouldn't have been hit so hard in round 1 from this punch, but in round 4, well, that's a different story. But maybe even Rajuli would have been taken down by a deliver so power. Whatever the outcome, this was really a very nice fight. 11 months ago was the first defeat in Montreal for Tamás. This was against a really skilled fighter, and now against a fighter who made his debut in the professional room.
Negyedik menetében technikai KO-val győzött. Ladies and gentlemen, in round number 4 we have your winner by TKO, Lazar Dimitrov!
Yeah, it was a beautiful fight, a beautiful bout.